juice extractor. The body of this juicer is made of high-grade polymer. The motor is 850 watts into 2 speeds. High speed runs at about 13,000 RPM. Low speed is about 6,500 RPM. There is a 3-inch wide circular feed tube and tamper, and the feed tube is able to take a small-sized apple, full-size. The mesh filter bed is a stainless steel micro mesh, and the blades are also stainless steel. The blade design is considered to be a center dual knife blade. The juicer also comes with a 1-liter juice jug and an interesting device called this froth separator, which works pretty well. It also comes with an easy clean brush and a nice heavy-duty cord. I've got the machine on now, and I got a little sound meter here. I thought we'd see how loud it is. This is on low. That's about 84 dB, so that's pretty light. Now I've got it on the high setting, and that is about 100, roughly about 100 dB, so it's quite a bit louder. Okay, I thought we'd put through some just regular things that you're probably going to end up putting through. We'll try the apple trick, see if it fit all the way through. This one will go through. And because that's one of the big selling points for this particular model, is that it'll juice whole apples. So you need to turn it on first. I think on full blast will probably be best. Pretty job on that. That didn't take long. I'm trying to carrot. Boy, it really spreads the stuff up, kicks it around. Okay, now some celery. There are a few little pieces of carrot and things that have been kind of kicked out of it. I think that's just because I didn't put the top on quite fast enough. It definitely, typical centrifugal juicer really kicks out stuff. To get inside the actual juicer, you got to pull this bar down. This might be a little hard to do one-handedly, but basically you pull that bar down like that, and that frees up this entire top piece. Let's take a look inside here. Oh, pretty clean, really pretty clean for centrifugal. That's clean. So, and looking at the mesh bed here, as far as in the actual cutting blade, that is really clean. It's kicking out really well, so it's doing a good job. As far as the pulp, let's see how. Ooh, oh, I'm pretty impressed. It's pretty darn dry. It's still got some in it for sure. I can still feel it a bit moist, but that's pretty darn good. With the blade moving that fast, you're definitely going to kick up a little bit more foam and more oxidation into the juice that way, which, you know, depends on how important that is to you. Some people would rather fix their juice really fast, and they're not going to really worry about the oxidation. Other people kind of freak out on it. One really nice little feature here is there's this little guard inside the juice pitcher, so it keeps the foam from entering the juice. Well, it keeps most of the foam from entering the juice. So it's kind of an extra nice little feature that this particular model comes with. One of the other features that I saw that I liked right away was how the end of the spout fits right into the juice receptacle. That's pretty darn handy right there. And it has a splash top, and then this edge right here, you just fit it around the actual spout, so it fits under there, so it's very self-contained. It's not going to splash anywhere. Got to make sure that the edge of this fits underneath that, like that, in order for the top of this to fit in there correctly. Because this piece right here has got to fit down inside of this. If you don't, you're really going to have pieces of fruit and vegetables all over the place. One thing I just noticed is when I put this back up here, I actually had the low switch on down here for the power, and of course nothing's going on, but as soon as you put this safety bar back up in here, you click it on, it clicks on. So that's something you'll have to watch out for if you end up picking one of these up. Okay, now let's try juicing some stuff that normally centrifugal juicers and just juicers in general have a hard time, which would be some leafy green vegetables like spinach here. So I think we'll actually try that maybe a little lower first and see how that goes. Or actually, probably put it higher. Well, I don't want to kick it out too fast. So. I'm getting a ton of juice out of that. Let's try some kale here. I also thought I'd try a piece of beet here. And ate through that pretty quick. That's pretty good. Okay, let's take a look here and see how well that went through. Well, it definitely juiced some of that. You can definitely see the beet juice is there. And you can see a little bit of the green from the spinach and the kale. And it had a little bit more trouble with the green vegetables for sure. That's what that big wad of vegetable matter is right there. It's mostly spinach. And it definitely kicked up a little bit more debris up around the edges and stuff. The pulp is still, it's not real fine with the green. There's a lot of extra produce that gets kind of tossed in there when you're dealing with green leafy vegetables. Just doesn't really do it that well. So, and here's something I just noticed too. There's a little chunk of carrot. This is kind of typical of centrifugal juicers, is they just don't really completely efficiently grind through all the produce. What they're really good for is they just do stuff real fast. They do stuff real fast. It's really easy, and that's why most people, get into them. So this actually was a piece of beet that just got stuck on the blade that just kept spinning around. Yeah, very, very typical of what happens. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show, which is some pineapple. Pineapple seems to be very hard on all types of juicers, and none of them really do it great. You still get plenty of juice, but it's just a difficult fruit for juicers to do. So, I'm going to go ahead and put it on high here and see how that goes. And it's not that it doesn't juice it and create juice, which it does very well. It's just that it never really uses up all the produce all that well. I mean, I can see already in here inside that it's kicked out a fair amount of pulp, and it's still pretty darn moist. That's the big thing with pineapples. The pulp tends to stay really moist with all juicers. And with pineapple, the pulp always gets, no matter what kind of juicer, it doesn't matter, it's always foamy. There's always a ton of foam in there. Okay, let's take a look inside after a pineapple and see how this is done. Yeah, it's about typical. pretty much. It actually looks pretty clean in the actual basket, and on the inside of the top here you can still see there's a fair amount of pulp in the back there, but it's not bad. It's okay. Actually, for the amount of pineapple I went through, that's pretty good. There's not that much pulp in there, so that's not bad. It is definitely, you know, wet, and it's in chunks, you know, because once again, these just kind of juicers just don't really grind up everything. There's things that slip by them with the self-ejecting juicers. Just not quite the same as with an auger, you know, a single auger or a twin blade. Another point I'd like to make about this juicer is it's solid. It's very well put together, and you can just, you know, I mean, granted this is plastic, but it's like a good quality plastic, and this is a good piece of metal here. You know, I mean, they've definitely put some, you know, quality effort into it. Even this plastic here is just it's better stuff. It doesn't feel cheesy or weak, and this motor is, I mean, it's beefy. It's got nice you know, rubber pegs on the bottom of it so it doesn't slip around, and I didn't see it moving at all when I was running it. So there's a little more to clean with this bigger juicer than some of the other ones. You do get this little brush, which is nice though. It's these edges underneath here that can be a hassle, but this juicer, as far as the centrifugal, is pretty clean and clear underneath there, which is good. This is the pulp receptacle for the injector in. So in conclusion, I really like this juicer. I think it's a good centrifugal juicer at a pretty low price range. You definitely won't go wrong with it. You're going to do a little bit more work in cleanup, and it's a little bit bigger, so it's going to take a little bit more counter space if you leave it out on the counter. It's not bad though. But basically, it's really just put together very well. The engine's really solid. Breville's a good company, and for a you know, like a first-time juicer for somebody, or just for somebody that's really wants to do stuff fast as far as the actual juicing process. I mean, you don't need to prep very many things. You can dump a lot of stuff in here pretty quickly and get a glass of juice awfully fast. Again, it would be that the drawback would be the cleanup, the oxidation in the juice, meaning the foam. There's more of that. Because there's just more air is tossed into it because of the high spinning blade. But if none of that stuff bothers you, this is a good choice. You won't go wrong.